Welcome everybody, I'm Alexander Linz, head of content of WatchAdvisor.com. I'm welcoming you from the Vallée de Joux, the Swiss Jura Mountains, the heart of Swiss watchmaking. And the occasion of being here is that Swatch Group now is showing its novelties. We are at the headquarters of Breguet, La Montre Breguet, and I'm happy now to be able to show you the novelties. I am discovering them in these minutes. You all know that Swatch Group has not attended Baselworld this year. They decided to do an own presentation. It was a smart decision, a clever decision, because we're really enjoying these presentations that are very personalized and very family style. So it's very nice to be here. And on the occasion of discovering the novelties, I've been already taping a few videos. So if this is the first video you are seeing, please go to our main page and check out all the other presentations I've been doing about the novelties of the different brands of Swatch Group, and especially of course of Breguet. So now I'm going to present you a watch that is a very particular watch. It's the Breguet Classique Tourbillon Extra-Plat Squelette, reference 5395. I'll quickly show it into the camera. It's a completely skeletonized tourbillon watch with an automatic winding system. It's a marvel because everything what can be skeletonized has been skeletonized, so it's really something that enables you, if you wear the watch, to really discover every mechanical detail, and it's a fascinating little cinema screen on your wrist. But before going into details of the watch, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the story. Breguet invented the tourbillon in 1801. 1801, it's some years ago. And at the time being when Breguet lived, he was only able to accomplish some 35 tourbillons. So this seems a very small number, but if you just think about how the conditions, working conditions and everything was in this time, it is a big number. And why did Breguet invent the tourbillon? Because we were not talking about wristwatches yet, we were talking about mechanical pocket watches. And the pocket watches were worn on your body. You would have a jacket and you would have a chain, and the pocket watch would always remain almost the entire day in the same position. And if you imagine that there is an escapement in a watch, and there is a silicone spiral that is opening itself and closing itself by the balance wheel turning from one side to the other, gravity has a big influence on it. And if a watch is always in a very, let's say, in a position, you could by regulating the adjusting the regulating organ, regulate it to this one position. But what happened if you would have taken the watch out of your pocket and looked at it in a different position? So Breguet said, okay, why not inventing a mechanism that will turn the entire escapement once a while, 1 minute, 30 seconds, depending on how you calculate and how you build the tourbillon around its own axis, to eliminate the effect of gravity. And this is what he did in 1801. And then he could improve accuracy of his watches to a way that was not seen before. Today, of course, wearing a tourbillon watch on your wrist is adding some accuracy, I would say, but it's obviously not as necessary as it was at the time being, because as you can imagine, and you just have to look at your arm from time to time, you move your arm up and down in so many positions that over an entire day, the effect of gravity will be compensated, let's say, by your own movements of your wrist or arm. But the fact of manufacturing such a marvel in such a quality, in such a thinness, and with so many details we are going to discover now, that's why the tourbillon is such a fascinating mechanism still today. And it's not only in 1801 that it was fascinating, it still remains a fascinating piece. And now I invite you to discover the details of the two executions. There's a second one in a red gold case, and I will go and I will guide you through the watch and let you discover this little, let's say, super cinema on your wrist. So this is now the detailed presentation of the Breguet Classique Tourbillon Extra-Plat Squelette, reference 5395. And as you already see in the picture, it is a watch that has been fully skeletonized. So by purpose, all parts of the plates that were not necessary have been taken away. This has been done for giving you maximum possible view on all parts of the movement. And I could tell you now that the movement is composed out of 325 components. And as you see, what you see now in your picture are those 325 components. So if you are bored one day, you could take the watch and start counting, because there's nothing hidden here, because everything that could have been taken away was taken away. So if you want, you count 325 components. So let me go into some details. The time, I need this little pointer, there we go. The time is indicated with a hour and minute hand on a sapphire dial. So the dial here is made out of sapphire to remain maximum transparent, of course. Then we have the tourbillon here, the tourbillon cage. It's a 4 Hertz tourbillon, meaning the balance wheel and the spiral, the silicon escapement is oscillating at a frequency of 28,800 amplifications per hour. So it's a 4 Hertz tourbillon, a 1 minute tourbillon. The cage will turn once in a minute. And what you see here is the barrel, and then you have all the gear train, of course, necessary to transform the information coming from the tourbillon to the hands and to indicate you the time. What's pretty particular here is that there is not much remaining plate left, because as you see, Breguet really took off everything that was not necessary, but the remaining parts of the plate, some are here, and some are here, and some are here, are not as you are used to see it decorated with probably a Côte de Genève or something similar. It's the very, very, very first time that these plates, the remaining plates, are all handcrafted by engine turning, or guilloché. It's a guilloché that has been applied with a very, very small engine, with a very small guilloché machine. It's engine turned, so it's a typical procedure normally Breguet uses to make its wonderful dials. So it's not a decoration you have ever seen before, because it's a world premiere, and it's pretty particular. It's very tiny, it's only tiny, and the guy the lady who is working at the machine, the guilloché machine, the engine turned machine, is really applying a specific pattern, and it's very particular because done the very first time. The tourbillon cage features a completely silicone escapement, silicone hairspring, and let me turn it around for you. Because this is pretty interesting also to see, everything has been really opened up to give you the perfect view on a watch. So this is the barrel. You are winding it, and if you're winding it, you will see that it is getting the feather in there is now more put together, and it's the place where the energy for the entire movement comes from. But you, when you look at the watch from this perspective, you might think it is not an automatic watch, but of course it is an automatic watch. And we have a peripheral rotor. You see the rotor from here to here. This is the rotor, and you see that there are teeth. So it is running on the outside of the movement. And I will now turn it so you can see, you saw, and you see. And by the movement of your wrist, you will wind the watch, and the rotor, since it's a peripheral rotor, is of course not covering any beauty of the movement. The rotor again is this from here. I have to look from here to here. So let's turn the watch back again to the front side. Once again, the barrel from the other side. That's where the energy comes from. The gear train that delivers the energy to the tourbillon, then the energy, or the gear train that delivers the energy, then it's hacked, timed precisely, and then given back, and then the time will be shown on by the minute and the hour hand. Very particular also the engravings. There is always a number on, so you can read here Breguet, and let me quickly have a look before I say something nonsense. It's 1981. So sorry guys, 1981. That's written here. Breguet 1981. That's a number that is given to all Breguet watches. So if you buy such a watch and you want to get into the archives with many celebrities and many people before, you can get into the archives and the number will be put that this is the watch with the number 1981 that belongs to you, and you will be part of the archives. And there's always a hidden signature. The hidden signature is somewhere on the sapphire dial. That's the secret signature of Breguet. It was kind of a counterfeiting signature Breguet invented at the time being to protect his watches from counterfeiting. So let me also show you the thinness of this incredible timepiece. It's 7.7 millimeters thick. That's really nothing. The case is still waterproof. 3 bars of 30 meters. So it's a watch you can, let's say, under normal conditions wear. You can wash your hands. You can. It's no risk of harming anything with humidity or something comparable. And the fascinating thing is also, and this is what I want to tell you, is that this barrel here, this barrel, gives the watch an autonomy of 80 hours. 80 hours of power reserve. That's absolutely stunning for an ultra-thin watch, for a tourbillon watch. So this is really something that is stunning. And I am asking now my cameraman to zoom into the tourbillon cage from the other side, so you can see the tourbillon working. And I will let you enjoy this for a moment. The tourbillon, as I told you, is a 1 minute tourbillon. It's a 4 Hertz tourbillon, 28,800 amplifications per hour. And once a minute, the entire tourbillon cage is turning around its axis. And so by doing this, it is eliminating the influence of gravity on the regulating organ. Yes, there we go. There is another little detail that probably when you look at the watch you will not discover at first sight, but is worth mentioning. The fact that all the sharp edges of the movement, where you have some there and there and there, yes, all these edges are chamfered by hand using a file until a perfectly smooth and even 45-degree bevel is created. So if you look precisely, you will see that the sharp edges are really like mirrored. You can say that mirrored because they are reflecting the light and they are looking simply gorgeous. It's a technology that is only being used in haute horlogerie, in the very high-end watchmaking, because it takes a lot of knowledge, know-how, and a lot of patience to do it. And you can imagine if you apply too much force on your file to create this wonderful 45-degree bevel, you will probably harm the watch, and the entire work has to start from zero. And in the worst case, you cannot even use the component a second time. So wonderfully hand-decorated movement by Breguet, and it's only something the high-end watchmaking, those manufacturers that are in high-end watchmaking are doing and applying. And if you look at that wonderful tourbillon bridge, you can see it at a perfect level. Amazing. Has been mirrored, polished, mirroring, polishing, and the edges are perfectly treated by a file by hand. The entire tourbillon mechanism, the carriage that you see here inside, weighs no more, and now please listen to the number I'm going to tell you, no more than 0.29 grams in total. this turning part, 0.290 grams. And a simply stunning, beautiful watch. That's really a fascinating world we are in, and I'm very glad that I was able to show you the new tourbillon from Breguet with all these details. Of course, if you're asking yourself now, what does this give you additionally to your life? Probably nothing. Yeah, it's true, because you can take time from your smartphone, you can wear whatever smartwatch, but in the end, this kind of watchmaking, high-end watchmaking, this, let's say, focusing on so many details, on details, on decoration, etc. That's really for me the antidote for this poisoning digital world. And it's so fascinating, and it's so cool to have people with a lot of passion putting together such watches with days, hours, and months it takes them to finish such a timepiece. And you can imagine that this will not be for free or not very cheap, and we'll mention you the prices now for the watches. The version in red gold, in rose gold with the gray movement is sold for 220,000 Swiss francs, including 7.7% of VAT here in Switzerland. And the version in platinum, it's a platinum case with a rose movement, is sold for 235,000 Swiss francs, including 7.7% of VAT here in Switzerland. Yes, as I told you, it's an antidote. It's such a fascinating world, and I imagine if someone buys the watch, wears it on its wrist, I think it will be a moment where you really turn off and you really jump out of the actual day, of everything that is disturbing you, running around you, and you just jump literally into the movement, and you are swimming around with your thoughts in those little details. And this is what this kind of timepieces makes them so fascinating. Total transparency made by Breguet in those new two tourbillon watches. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you like what we are doing, please don't forget to subscribe to our video channel, YouTube channel, and to like our videos. And of course, if you have any questions and comments to make on what I've just been telling you, please use the comment section just here underneath. And thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.